afternoon. Some model guidance showing the potential for a few stronger storms. We'll have that latest on Ida's impacts here locally in just about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Riley. Seeing your kids coughing and sneezing at the start of the school year doesn't feel too out of the ordinary, but now it's not a cold. It's more and more COVID cases in children. Before the Delta variant started sweeping around the country, there weren't a whole lot of kids getting sick with COVID. Now we're seeing more kids testing positive in our local school districts. Columbia County has more than 500 positive students, and Richmond County has more than 160. Our Sloan O'Cone is in the studio to talk about COVID numbers and kids. Sloan?
Our Meredith Anderson posted on Facebook asking if your child had COVID and what and how severe the symptoms were. We got about 65 comments now, with comments ranging from pretty wild symptoms to absolutely nothing at all. Aches, stuffy noses, but also more severe symptoms like high fevers, body aches, and vomiting. Something else interesting, the comments, the ages of the children range from 3 months to 18 years old. Local health officials say the Delta variant is very serious, especially in young unvaccinated children. The Children's Hospital of Georgia has 7 admitted patients, and the number of positive cases in our area is continuing to grow. According to the Department of Public Health, the number of cases in Columbia and Richmond County are categorized as high and increasing. In the past 2 weeks, Columbia County has had 30 positive cases in children younger than 4. 213 in kids from 5 to 17 years old, and 41 cases in 18 to 22 years old. In Richmond County, 52 cases in kids from under 4, 250 kids from 5 to 17 years old, and 122 in 18 to 22 years old. The majority of cases, kids ranging from 5 to 17 years old. I spoke to one mom with 3 kids under 14 positive, and she could
take them to the doctor to get tested. Don't play. It's not a joking matter right now. It's basically a life-death situation. Either you do get them tested or you don't get them tested and you fight with what you got, but you really don't want to fight with COVID.
And Alicia says she did not think her kids would test positive, and at first the symptoms were just fatigue and a headache. So symptoms or no symptoms, it's important to get tested.
Thanks so much, Sloan, for that. Some schools are heading back to in-person learning after going virtual. Burt County schools are back in person. Tolliver schools are back, but on a hybrid schedule, so only half the students are there at a time. And Bel Air K-8 in Richmond County is back. And as those schools do go back to in-person learning, 2 districts in our area are heading to virtual. McCormick and Williston School District doing at-home learning. They have yet to make a decision on when they will be back in the classroom. Today, the U.S. Department to recommend travel restrictions against the U.S. today. That would mean that those traveling there would need to quarantine and test for COVID if unvaccinated. They're also stopping all non-essential travel again. Students at Jesse Norman School of the Arts are joining Georgia Public Broadcasting to share a part of Augusta history. They created the podcast Shots in the Back, exhuming the 1970 Augusta riot, and it just won a National Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Podcast instructor C. Starchura says she's happy it's touched so many people.
Years that went into this, and the novelty of this approach, it really made a difference, and I'm so grateful to the school for suggesting it, saying like, okay, you've got this research already, and we've got these students.
And a great thing they put together, the students that participated were in grades 5th through 12th. If you want to listen to Shots in the Back, we have it on our website. You can just hit that link. It's on wrdw.com. And if you're still looking to adopt a pet, the Augusta Regional Airport is partnering with local animal shelters for a pet adoption day. On Friday, September 3rd, you can head to the airport to get a furry companion. The event is from 9 to 5 o'clock. Many of our local shelters have been full recently, so if you're thinking of adopting a cat or a dog, this is a chance for you to find that furry friend. Still ahead, Hurricane Ida.
Just about 10 minutes.
Breaking news just into the newsroom. Augusta Commissioner Sammy Sias is now suspended. Today, Governor Brian Kemp signed the executive order suspending him from office. He was indicted on 2 federal charges of destroying public documents and lying to federal investigators. We're going to keep you updated as we learn more information. Our state is seeing a new influx of positive COVID cases, Georgia reaching over 19,000 new confirmed COVID cases just today. Over the past 2 weeks, Richmond County saw over 1,400 cases, and in Columbia County, they're seeing almost 1,000 new confirmed COVID cases within the past 2 weeks. South Carolina is going up in their COVID numbers. Over the past 3 days, the state has hit a combined number of 16,000 new cases. Today, the state reported over 3,000 new positive confirmed cases. Aiken County saw 1,400 cases within the past 2 weeks, and Edgefield County saw only 179 cases during that same time frame. For the first time since the winter, the U.S. has reached 100,000 hospitalizations for coronavirus, an increase of nearly 500% in just the past 2 months. Hospitals are struggling to keep up with the caseload. Michelle Medina reports on what hospitals in the South look like.
The U.S. is now averaging 156,000 new daily cases of coronavirus. As daily admissions climb, hospitals across the country are running out of ICU beds, especially in the South.
30+% of our inpatient population being COVID positive individuals, and the vast majority of those unvaccinated. It creates a perfect storm.
In Portland, Oregon, 300 National Guard members are on duty to help hospital staff, and more than 16,000 patients are hospitalized in Florida, the most of any state. On Monday, Governor Ron DeSantis said he will appeal a judge's ruling that overturned his ban on mask mandates at schools.
Ultimately, we're just trying to stand with the parents. A lot of parents, they know their kid in terms of the health. Parents' Bill of Rights has said this is your right here.
The U.S. Department of Education announced it is investigating 5 Republican-led states with universal mask bans, saying the policies could be discriminatory towards students with health conditions or disabilities. Nationwide, 180,000 children tested positive during the week of August 12th, raising concerns outbreaks could disrupt more in-person learning. Here in California, the San Diego County Board of Supervisors could be the first in the nation to vote on a policy that would declare health misinformation a public health crisis. Public health experts see health misinformation as a major contributor to vaccine hesitancy. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Today, the European Union recommended that its 27 member nations put back in travel restrictions for visitors from the U.S. because of the surge in cases. In North Carolina,
from the station that's on your side, breaking news.
breaking news first at 4. Richmond County Schools making the decision to go virtual for 2 days after Labor Day. They say they're trying to be proactive because they're expecting a COVID surge after the holiday. Students start at home learning on Tuesday, September 7th. They're going to be back to in-person on Thursday, September 9th. The school districts say this will give them a chance to clean, disinfect, and refill COVID supplies like soap, hand sanitizer, and masks. Well, we're expecting to see some rain from Tropical Depression Ida today, and some of our counties have already seen it. And if you take a look outside, you probably see some cloudy skies. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale, he's tracking all of this for us today. Riley, just how much of an impact can... Thanks, Riley. Like we just mentioned, Richmond County schools are switching to virtual learning for 2 days after Labor Day. With rising COVID cases, some school districts are seeing staffing issues.
Past midnight tonight, we'll see when Ida finally gets clear of the region coming up in that full forecast.
Thanks, Riley. Like we just mentioned, Richmond County schools are switching to virtual learning for 2 days after Labor Day. With rising COVID cases, some school districts are seeing staffing issues. Sloan O'Cone went to see if the virtual learning has anything to do with staffing issues.
Richmond County told me that this virtual learning has nothing to do with being short-staffed. They say that it's proactive in giving them time to clean. I asked both Richmond and Columbia County if they're short-staffed. Richmond County says no, but Columbia County is posting that they're short-staffed about bus drivers. But parents in both counties are posting they feel like they're short-staffed, teachers and bus drivers. Columbia County has posted on their website and emailed parents warning them to expect bus delays up to an hour every day because of COVID-related absences. If you look at last year's numbers, this week a year ago, 15 students had COVID, 5 employees had it. Fast forward to this year, these are the most recent numbers from Friday. 506 students have COVID and 62 employees do. That same week in Richmond County, last year, 3 students had COVID and 8 teachers. As of last Friday, it's 187 positive students and 56 teachers, nearly 130 quarantined. We spoke with Richmond County Superintendent on the first day of school about how they plan to handle cases in students and staff.
Typically, if we have a large number of students or teachers that have to be quarantined. That might be a trigger point for us to consider at-home learning. We've gotten a very good response, so we don't believe that's going to be an issue this upcoming school year.
Again, the virtual learning next week is not because of a rise in COVID cases. I'm waiting for both school districts to send me the numbers of substitutes available, bus drivers out with COVID, and how many teachers are quarantining to figure out how this is really impacting our schools. In Columbia County, Sono Cone on your side.
Thanks so much for that, Sloan. Water rescues continue for the second day in Louisiana. Hurricane Ida has brought historic flooding to the state. Emergency officials say they've never seen the water get this high, as you see just right there in that video. As residents in Louisiana and Mississippi continue to assess the massive damage from Hurricane Ida, intense heat is also moving into the region, and the threat of additional dangers are looming for tens of millions of Americans now under a flash flood threat. Daryl Forges is in Louisiana with more.
For millions along the Gulf Coast, Ida's impact has been devastating.
This storm was every bit as advertised, and the damage that we have seen here and that they're dealing with is just catastrophic.
Heavy rain in Mississippi washed away part of Highway 26, a main artery between Mississippi and Louisiana. At least 2 people were killed, 10 others hurt in the washout, according to the Mississippi Highway Patrol. And with many roads impassable or blocked by debris, the full extent of damage is yet to be seen. Louisiana's governor telling those who have evacuated not to return home yet.
The schools are not open, the businesses are not open, the hospitals are slammed. There's not water in your home, and there's not going to be electricity.
From widespread damage to another danger. In southern Louisiana and Mississippi, millions of power outages and the excessive heat. Officials say electricity may not be restored to some areas for a month. Temperatures expected to reach 100 degrees or more.
They got to get us some help. Even if we did choose to leave, you know what I'm saying? Come on now, we need some type of help. There's no electricity.
And as Ida moves north, tens of millions of Americans are under a flash flood threat, including parts of Tennessee, where residents are preparing for more rain after flooding last weekend.
God, not again. Just trying to salvage what we can of our lives.
So far, Ida is blamed for at least 4 deaths in Louisiana and Mississippi. Today, the South Carolina Supreme Court spoke about whether or not